Our Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Suresh Narayanan, Chairman and Managing Director, Nestle India Ltd, Mr. Rajendra S, Founder, NIIT University, Mr. Vijay K Thadani, Co-founder, NIIT University, and Professor Rajesh Khanna, President, NIIT University, to grace the dais. As Kofi Annan once said, and I quote, "Knowledge is power, information is liberating, education is the premise of progress in every society, in every family," unquote. One of the goals of education is to create possibilities for men and women to invent and discover, and for them to be capable of doing new things. Indeed, this is emphasized in the vision of NIIT University, which is to be a visionary in learning, research, innovation, and sustainability. We take immense pride in our students' success, and it's gratifying to bestow them with the degrees of honors. I'm so pleased that we can gather today in person, something we do not take and cannot take for granted anymore. This is an unusual ceremony in an extraordinary time, which reminds us of the simple joys of being together. You, our graduating students, you have adapted and grown in this difficult time, which has undoubtedly enriched you and added to your academic success. All the triumphs and setbacks you and your fellow students have shared together have given you a remarkable bond and made your path unique. To all the graduates present, I offer my warmest congratulations on your academic successes, the culmination of many years of hard work and dedication. To begin the ceremony, let us pay tribute to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge. I request the dignitaries on the dais to kindly light the lamp. Thank you, sir, and thank you, dear students, for this melodious tribute. May I now request Mr. Rajendra S Pawar, founder, NIIT University, to deliver the welcome address.
Mr. Narayanan, first of all, a very hearty welcome to you to our campus. Given the road traffic, he arrived just very shortly before the event, so he didn't get the usual opportunity to see the campus, but we'll make sure that we get to do that. But I do want to say we're delighted to have you here for what is perhaps one of the most important days in the life of our graduating students, Newtons as we call them, anything where NU fits in, we try and fit it in for the Convocation Day. And this is also a very special day for each graduating Newton. And let me first congratulate each one of you for successfully achieving what you set out to do from the day that you set your feet here on this campus. And I'm delighted to inform each one of you as Newtons that, that how fortunate you are that on this very important day, you get, the opportunity to listen to Mr. Narayanan and, sorry, excuse me. And of course, we'll wait for Vijay to introduce him properly, and you will recognize that this day, which is important for you, will also be memorable because you heard and listen to one of the better and one of the best, if not one of the leaders in our country at this time. And Vijay will talk about him in some detail. So, Mr. Narayanan, a few comments that I want to make to apprise you of a particular dimension of the growth of our young students, of Newtons, which is also should be a reminder to all of you youngsters who came here 4 years ago for the undergrads and 2 years for the postgrads, that reinforcing some thoughts which you would carry with you. And these pertain basically to matters beyond the academic purpose, which is the purpose they've all come here for. And as they have involved themselves and immersed themselves, sorry, this is in the academic matter leading up to the degree, they've also been undergoing development and growth as individuals. And I want to refer to some of those matters that transform each Newton, each of you, and that's our aspiration, to transform you into a more sensitive, caring, and responsible citizen of the world. Mindful of your obligations, not just to yourself, but also to nature, to the environment, to all sections of society, and of course to each and every person that you interact with. Now, it is our practice here that the incoming batch, the freshmen, they go through a very intense induction program that we call Resonance. And in the very first week is their first encounter with nature. And their encounter is with nature and with life in a very visceral way, in a very visceral way. And they plant a tree, and we ask them to name it after someone close to them. And since that would happen on the second or third day and they had made some friends, they would write the names of someone they found very interesting, except that if that interest got lost after some time, the tree would wither away. So then General Singh, a few years ago, changed the practice. He said you have to write your mother, it has to be a mother's name that you give to the tree, and we've seen the survival of the plants is radically better. But then they walk up the hillock. We are fortunate to have the Aravalis just behind us, to a spot which we call the Suryodaya Sthal to experience the energizing effect of sunrise. We think we want them to get accustomed to the rhythm of the day, which starts with the sunrise. They experience that and they walk the hillock along with Air Commodore Kamal. I just introduced you to him. And he tells me that now, this keeps evolving, he tells me that the connection, which is going to be in many dimensions, but the connect with nature starts as it happens. And he tells me that nowadays when they go halfway, he wants them to stop in silence and recognize the number of different sounds of birds and to do a count, how many different, and they have a little bit of a competition, but they start connecting with nature. I'm told that they have become very mindful, and they're made mindful of walking, and you see the little, all of us, many of us have seen in these, the convoys of ants, and they become mindful and they sidestep, give them their space. They start noticing the diversity of flora. They look back when they go up a little, and that's more valid in the last few years. They look back and see the contrast of the land where they're at and what's happening with the greening that's going down here. And they will walk down to a sewage treatment plant. Normally people don't like that phrase, but for us it's a matter of religion, should we say, because almost all the water and waste that comes out, 97% I'm told, is treated, recycled, and pumped uphill into tanks, and then through drip irrigation, we are creating a greening, which you will get a chance to see. They all experience the other phenomena of how we treat air. We don't use air conditioning barring a few critical places, laboratories and so on. That we use geothermal cooling. So 4 meters under the ground, the temperature is 24 degrees anywhere in the world, and we use that to cool the air in the summers and warm it in the winters and wash it. And that's what comes into the rooms, so it's not recycling in the room like in air conditioning, it's just moving out, so fresh air. And so you recognize the role of the earth as the source of that energy around the year. And then on some of the evenings during that time, they are made to sit. Now this, you can see, this is the kind of a terraced top. So above that we have a open amphitheater facing the west, and they get the opportunity then to experience the setting sun, which we see, and all of us know that that's when the day is folding and it makes you introspective. So many more things, but this is what they experience early on. And then General Ashok Singh, A.K. Singh, who's the Chief of Operations, also Dean of Students, takes the responsibility to ensure that in the remaining few weeks of the induction program, they are made to become mindful of many things around sustainability, around connectedness, and around a word that we consider very important. It's one of our 4 core principles, and that is seamlessness. So on sustainability, the first thing that comes to our mind is water, because when we came here, there was no water here. We were told that water and sewage we manage, it was just wilderness here. Now you see the Japanese sector. So they learn, they see for themselves how, what we used to learn in geography lessons, that how the water evaporates and then comes as cloud, but for that you need to have an environment which can build humidity. And they see that this water coming from the STP going uphill, coming down, then the trees are getting formed, and the environment is changing, and they see the full experience. You will notice that's a zero plastic campus. We worry about ecology, and there's a great emphasis on recycling everything. So sustainability is something which can't be taught in a classroom. People have to live it, and we try and introduce them to that. We could introduce them to connectedness with nature, of course, to the community. They all have to work with the community in the neighborhood. And there are many connections that get established between themselves, not just in the batch, but in the house, the allegiance to your house, allegiance to your sports team, allegiance to your club. We have more than 20 of them. And then the community work. So there's a whole lot of emphasis on the connectedness. And of course, all-round development, and I've touched on some of these things before. So Now, it is my experience in these 13 years now, even before that, that campus design, laying out the campus, which is the setting, the built spaces, cleanliness, orderliness, provide the ambience within which people grow, and in which they develop their minds, their habits, their behaviors, and sensitivities. Now, I also know that in the induction program, everybody gets to know this, and then it becomes second nature, and we take it for granted. But those who visited here after many years would tell us that it keeps coming back to them in subconscious, unconscious ways, and does influence their thinking, and we expect them to carry these values as they go into the workplace and influence society. Now, this graduating ceremony celebrates all of this in addition to the core activity they came here for. And this year, the induction program, when it got over, we first Saturday of the month had spent time with all faculty, we get together. And this time they were playing back, the students as well as faculty, on the experience with the batch. What did they find meaningful? And I have to say this, not that it's news, but it was really heartwarming to see the faculty talk about how they've been looked after by faculty members. They're available whenever they want them. It was quite, I think to me, very good to hear that first-hand news, and therefore our faculty were very committed, our vice president, our deans, our HODs, all of them contribute to the main thing of which the students have come for, which is to get the degree, but also, as we saw, to become citizens of the world. So, very hearty welcome to you and to all of you, and I think we have some parents here who put the faith in us some time ago, which we hope we have lived up to and lived up to the obligation and your expectations. And I think as all of you as Newtons embark on the new phase of life, we all want to wish you well, I want to wish you well, and all the best for a great Convocation Day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Very heartening words. I request our Honorable President, Professor Rajesh Khanna, to kindly declare the convocation open.
I declare the convocation open.
Thank you, sir. All the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Technology shall rise from their seats. I request Professor Debashish Sengupta, Area Director, to present the candidates for the award of the degree of Bachelor of Technology.
Sir, I have the honor to present to you the candidates, 82 who are present and 96 in absentia, to whom I know to be suitable as much by character as by learning, and having successfully completed the necessary requirements for the award of the degree of Bachelor of Technology, and pray that they may be awarded the degree of Bachelor of Technology.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Act, as the President of the NIIT University and Chairman of the Academic Council, and in recognition of your being suitable as much by character as by learning, and having successfully completed the necessary requirements for the award of the degree of Bachelor of Technology, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Technology and require you that in thought, word, and action, you prove yourself worthy of it.
Ayan Kashyap. Mimi Vaidya. Saurabh Shah. Aditya Gupta. Ayushman Arya. Abhinav Gupta. Akshat Bhandari. Aman Gupta. Aman Mehra. Aniket Chakrabarti. Ankita Sharma. Anup Gupta. Anusri Krishania. Arjun Bakshi. Arjun Shet. Arbita Singh. Bhavya Narang. Bora Srikirtana Reddy. Charita Chaudhary Madala. Dinanath Srivastava. Dirgha Borkar. Divtej Singh Bindra. Guntur Sai Pratik Reddy. Jatin Singhal. Kailash Kartik Shekhar. Kanchan Ninath Krishna. Kaushish Chutaria. Kawal Nain Singh Batra. Kishu Jain. Kulavenu Sai Sri Ganesh. Kundra Avinash. Mayank Gubba. Mayuri Mahesh Mane. Mohammad Jubayur Hossein Iman. Muhammad Hamza Ahasin. Moushumi Shaha. Muskan Goel. Naveli Gupta. Nidhi Khemka. Parmar Harish Ogenhai. Paul Miglani. Pranav Bharadwaj. Pranay Kumar Srivastava. Pratyaksh Mathur. Prerna Manish Vasin. Rajat Kaushik. Rajat San. Ramashami Manikant Reddy. Richard Tony. Ritab Dash. Ritik Chuk. Ritu Sihak. Sagar Makar. Sahasrabdhi Bhattacharya. Shahil Singh. Sandha A. Chettiar. Satyanarayana Bhatt. Sheshadri Datta. Shekhar Dikshit. Savya Gupta. Suresh Rana. Shrey Bharadwaj. Shreya Chauhan. Shreyansh Jain. Srihari Shukla. Siddhant Sharma. Siddhant Sharma. Siddhant Sharma. Siddhi Lal. Shumangshu Vikram Singh. Samia Gupta. Srishti Agarwal. Sudha Chaudhary. Shyam Krishna Gopala. Shatik Chakravarti. Tanmay Chaturvedi. Tripti Lamba. Trisha Sharma. Varun Bist. Vijayendra Raghuvangshi. Yash Agarwal. Yukta Sharma. Yuvraj Singh.
I request Professor Debashish Sengupta, Area Director, to present the candidates for the award of the degree of Master of Technology.
Sir, I have the honor to present you the candidates, two in absentia, to whom I know to be suitable as much by character as by learning, and having successfully completed the necessary requirements for the award of the degree of Master of Technology, and pray that they may be awarded the degree of Master of Technology.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Act as the Chairman of the Academic Council of NIIT University, and in recognition of your being suitable as much by character as by learning, and having successfully completed the necessary requirement for the award of the degree of Master of Technology, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Technology and require you that in thought, word, and action, you prove yourself worthy of it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. May I now request Dr. Sushil Kalyani, Area Director Management, to present the candidates for the award of Master of Business Administration in Intelligent Data Science.
Sir, I have the honor to present to you the candidates, one who is present and 5 in absentia, to whom I know to be suitable as much by character as by learning, and having successfully completed the necessary requirements for the award of the degree of Master of Business Administration in Intelligent Data Science, and pray that they may be awarded the degree of Master of Business Administration in Intelligent Data Science.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Act, as the Chairman of the Academic Council of NIIT University, and in recognition of your being suitable as much by character as by learning, and having successfully completed all the requirements for the award of the degree of Master of Business Administration in Intelligent Data Science, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Business Administration in Intelligent Data Science, and require you that in thought, word, and action, you prove yourself worthy of it.
Himanshi Mehra.
I request Dr. Sushil Kalyani, Area Director Management, to present the candidates for the award of Master of Business Administration.
Sir, I have the honor to present to you the candidates, 3 in absentia, to whom I know to be suitable as much by character as by learning, and having successfully completed the necessary requirements for the award of the degree of Master of Business Administration, and pray that they may be awarded the degree of Master of Business Administration.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Act, as the Chairman of the Academic Council of NIIT University, and in recognition of your being suitable as much by character as by learning, and having successfully completed all the requirements for the award of the degree of Master of Business Administration, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Business Administration, and require that you, in thought, word, and action, you prove yourself worthy of it.
I request Dr. Sushil Kalyani, Area Director Management, to present the candidates for the award of Master of Business Administration, Integrated.
Sir, I have the honor to present to you the candidates, 8 who are present and 10 in absentia, to whom I know to be suitable as much by character as by learning, and having successfully completed the necessary requirements for the award of the degree of Master of Business Administration Integrated, and pray that they may be awarded the degree of Master of Business Administration Integrated.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Act, as the Chairman of the Academic Council of NIIT University, and in recognition of your being suitable as much by character as by learning, and having successfully completed the necessary requirements for the award of the degree of Master of Business Administration Integrated, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Business Administration Integrated, and require you that in thought, word, and action, you prove yourself worthy of it.
Ayushman Ray Srivastav. K. Aditya. Nehul Chaudhary. Parnika Jindal. Thank you. Sharma Shivani Shravan Kumar. Suyash Papat, Usam Hussain Siddiqui, Yadav Govind Suryabhan. Congratulations.
Let the oath be administered. I call upon Shravya Gupta to lead the oath.
I hereby pledge that I will constantly endeavor to be honest and upright in the discharge of my duties. I will uphold the dignity of the individual and the integrity of the profession. I will utilize my knowledge and learning for the glory of NIIT University and for the service of the country and mankind at large.
All the recipients of the degree are requested to be seated. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. I request the Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Suresh Narayanan, to award the Dr. Karan Singh Gold Medal to the position holders. Shravya Gupta for standing first in Bachelor of Technology, batch 2018-2022. Aishi Bhattacharya for standing first in Master of Business Administration, Integrated, 2018-22, in absentia. Sudipta Kundu for standing first in Master of Technology in Geographic Information Systems, batch 2020-2022, in absentia. But you can give them a round of applause, please. Sir, may I request you to present the Ram Rajendra Malhotra Medal 2022, which is awarded to the best all-round student amongst the undergraduate graduating batch. This year, the award is being conferred upon Bora Sri Kirtana Reddy. Thank you, sir. Thank you for doing the honors. I would like to request Mr. Vijay Thadani, co-founder, NIIT University, to kindly introduce our chief guest.
Thank you. Before I do that, I would first like to congratulate the graduating batch. You guys look very somber. Cheer up. It's your last day. It's over. And by the way, you look dapper. I've never seen you looking so good. So give yourself a big hand. So you've joined the family of alumni Newtons now. Now you can call yourself an alum Newton, thus making it a stronger community of 3016 now and counting. And you are a force to reckon with. You made the place stronger than it was before. In the turbulent times that await you, while your contemporaries elsewhere would be nervous, I am confident you consider this as an opportunity to prove your mettle and solve problems, new problems that the humanity is facing. Your companions in the journey will be the diverse professional competencies and the solid repertoire of 21st century skills that you developed as a Newton. So, dream big, embrace life passionately, and keep reaching for the stars. Most important, have fun and enjoy the journey. So, all the best, and we wish you the best of everything in everything you do. Every batch of students leaves behind a distinct imprint in the evolution of the institution, and you are no exception. You made a seminal contribution to NU in its journey as a role model, and through your participation in pioneering the additive learning framework, you could call yourself guinea pigs because it was first tried on you, but you came out very successfully. In the co-creation of Nugget, the digital learning platform, and in the success of the activity-oriented credits, amongst others. The campus will miss you. The trees you planted, the dogs you cared for, the clubs you nurtured, the junior Newtons you mentored, and the nurturers who molded you. We all will miss you. And now to the parents, our heartfelt gratitude and congratulations. The milestone we are celebrating today is primarily the result of the strong foundations you built, the values you inculcated, the encouragement you provided, and the sleepless nights that you went through. Most of all, we are grateful to you for the trust you reposed in NU by sharing your most precious possession with us. You gave us shy boys and girls, and today we hand you back smart and confident young men and women who are determined to rebuild this world. So give yourself a big hand, parents. Incidentally, the mothers will be happy to know that we did or managed to do what you could not do the first 18 years of the child's life. These people eat ghiya, tori, kaddu with as much relish. And now that the moment you have been waiting for. In times such as the current ones, when businesses are confronted with a crisis, when the stakes are high, and the road ahead looks hazy, we look for the combined qualities of a visionary with the gift of foresight, along with the finesse of an implementer par excellence. Today, we have amongst us a corporate trailblazer, a veteran of the FMCG industry, counted amongst the pantheon of greats, and above all, a human being who is humility personified. Ladies and gentlemen, I have great privilege in introducing Mr. Suresh Narayanan, Chairman and Managing Director, Nestle India. Suresh holds a master's degree in economics from the Delhi School of Economics. He is an alumnus of London Business School, has a diploma from the IMD program for executive development, and was honored with honoris causa, Doctor of Philosophy in Management by NIIT University, India. Suresh began his career as a management trainee with Hindustan Lever and held numerous positions of responsibility in sales, marketing, and general management before moving to Colgate-Palmolive for a short while. Since 1999, he has been associated with the Nestle Group in various geographies across the world. A man with strong personal and professional convictions, he confesses that he has either been part of a crisis or created one. I find that interesting because it sounds quite familiar, which he, in a lighter vein, ascribes to his horoscope. Suresh headed Nestle Singapore during the economic crisis in 2008. He headed Nestle Egypt during the Arab Spring in 2010. That helped him forge his beliefs in the furnace of fire. The Maggie crisis in 2015. What would life be without Maggie? Guys, was perhaps the most challenging situation in his entire professional career so far that catapulted him to the status of crisis manager-in-chief and further cemented his convictions. He believes in the teachings of Nelson Mandela that no matter what the crisis is, we can resurrect ourselves if we have a defined set of purpose, vision, and values. Suresh has some interesting beliefs in leadership. He believes that leadership is about orchestration. It is about knowing every piece of the music, and yet it is the people that perform the music. Suresh has shared his wisdom and experiences at a number of industry fora, including NASSCOM, and at academic institutions such as IIMs, ISB, NUS School of Business Singapore, American University Cairo, Columbia University, and so on. Not the one to rest on his laurels and therefore continuously raising the bar, Suresh Narayanan has been awarded from time to time by prestigious organizations in recognition of his achievements. Some of the recent recognitions include Forbes India Leadership Awards 2017 as the Best CEO in the MNC category, Best CEO FMCG, Best CEO FMCG for 2 years consecutively in 2019 and 20. When I go back 5 years, I can't find a year when Suresh or the organization that he represents have not been honored as the best in the category. Congratulations. He's been the best performing leader for the MNC category in 2020 by CNBC Awaaz, the entrepreneurial CEO at the EY Entrepreneur of the Year 2020, and most recently in 2022, the best CEO FMCG by Fortune India. Under his leadership, Nestle India has won numerous awards, such as the Best Governed Company Award by Asian Center for Corporate Governance, MNC of the Year by Business Standard, Outstanding Company of the Year by CNBC TV 18, and most recently in 2022, the MNC in India of the Year by All India Management Association. So my dear graduating Newtons, as you stand at the cusp of a new beginning in your life, I'm sure that Suresh's experiences will touch the deepest recesses of your heart and mind to kindle a new thought process that will stand you in good stead when you navigate with your own compass. Ladies and gentlemen, I have great pleasure in presenting to you Mr. Suresh Narayanan.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rajendra Pawar, Mr. Thadani, Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Rajesh Khanna, all the members of the faculty, graduating class, their parents, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Thadani has been more than generous in his introduction for me. हिंदी में कहावत है नाम बड़े और दर्शन छोटे. I don't count myself in the ranks of the greats, but somehow, by the grace of God, by a belief in oneself, and by an outstanding team, one has achieved whatever one has achieved. But first, today is your day. Today is the day when you begin the rest of what would be a cherished, respected, a high-achieving career for each one of you. I take this opportunity to not just congratulate each one of you for your achievements, but also want to congratulate your parents. Being a parent myself, one of the days of greatest joy for me was to see my daughter graduate, because you felt you had accomplished something more in your life than just working for an organization and delivering results on a regular basis. There is nothing more satisfying than to see your dearest one become something in his or her life. There is no greater joy, there is no greater being, there is no greater feeling that you can have. And therefore, I exult in the joy of all the parents in celebrating the graduation of their children. I also exult in the joy of the faculty. I've always believed that teaching is probably the most noblest profession in the world, comparable to being a doctor or compared to being a priest, because you mold and create human beings. What we do in the corporate world is that we try and guide the talents of the human beings towards particular goals. But what you do is you mold a human being. And when you mold one human being, you're in turn molding a family. And that's, I think, the most gratifying part of your journey. Today is also the day when you will get inflicted with advice from grey-haired men and women. The only simple thing I would like to leave each one of you with, this is your life. We can't lead your life. But all that we can do is to just give you a few pointers that might be of some use to you. And that's what I'm hesitatingly going to share with you. What you become, what you seek, and what you do starts with the basic question, who are you? I don't ask this in a philosophic sense. I ask this in the sense of a being finding the direction and way on the road called life. Clarity on who you are, what do you believe in, and what do you want out of your life are important questions to ask today. You have been blessed to study at one of the finest institutions in this country. Men like Mr. Pawar have been visionaries, along with Mr. Thadani, to create education as a platform for technological progress in this country. You can create technological institutions, but where are you going to find the hardcore material that makes those institutions? It is at places like NIIT and then now NIIT University that this has happened. So in a sense, you are with people, nurtured by people who have built institutions of learning. And I think it is important that you understand, appreciate, and cherish that. So you have been blessed to be at one of the finest institutions. I've not had the privilege of seeing your full campuses yet, but I look forward to it because it's beautifully made. It's beautifully constructed with the best faculty that you can have and with facilities that are world class. So you are beginning your careers by being at a world class university in India. And that is a matter of privilege because there are very few people who have that privilege in their lives and in their careers. And therefore, there is even more that question that you need to ask of yourself. What is it that you want to do with your life? What is it that you believe in? Today, the fashionable word in many boardrooms is purpose and values. I keep telling my team, what is so new about it? All our families has been about purpose and values. What has your grandfather taught you? What has your grandmother taught you? who are the icons and symbols in your life. In my own life, my icons were my mother and my two grandmothers. They molded me and molded my character. And they taught me my own values of dignity, of respect, of hard work, of humility, saying this is what will serve you well in your life. And this is the purpose and values that we talk about today. So as you venture forth into your life, think about who you are, what is it that you want to become, and what is it that you can learn from others. I'm very fond of Kabir Dohas, and therefore I would inflict some upon you, because I believe that this saintly figure, 700 years ago, exemplifies the thoughts that are relevant today and that will be relevant for the next, I don't know how many millennia. The simple doha he said was, Bura jo dekhan main chala, bura na miliya koi, jo dil khoja apna, mujhsa bura na koi. Seeking out people who are worse than you made you realize that actually there is no one worse than me. It is that humility and it is that sense of purpose and values that will always drive you towards excellence. There is no end. Mr. Thadani was very kind enough to talk about the various medals and accolades that I've got. These are all metals. They don't mean much. Once you down the hat of your corporate world, who cares? As my wife says, you will have to sit and polish it anyway. Right? And I think that's the truth, that you can sit and polish it, but you still are seeking something that is beyond what you have achieved. So think about it, my young friends. It's an important question, and think about it as you reflect. One of the things that resonated most with me when I came to your campus is something that brought back fond memories of my school days. You have Astachal here. The school that I went to, called Rishi Valley in the south, also had Astachal. And we used to sit and contemplate for 10 minutes, for 15 minutes. Admittedly, not with great seriousness, because we were too busy trying to poke the guy in front or take a look at the prettiest girl in class. That was what we managed to achieve, but at least we got a little bit of perspective in our lives to be able to focus our attentions. The second bit I would like to leave you with is that your education has given you the stature to call yourself skilled. It still hasn't given you the stature to call yourself competent. And that's what you need to build as you go forward. In whatever job you do, in whatever business you run, in whatever vocation you do, learn that competence is the cutting edge of yourself that will make you not just a better professional, it will give you greater satisfaction. And competence goes together with continuous learning. You got your 4-year degrees, you got your master's degrees, you got your consolidated MBA degrees, you got all these accolades today. But your life is going to become fulfilled only and only if you contemporize yourself with the latest learning, the latest trends in whatever you're doing. My generation was different. We joined at a time when skills were limited, where institutions were limited, where opportunities were limited. And therefore the pace of change was also limited. So we could carry on our careers with a reasonable degree of certainty that the body of knowledge that we had acquired when we had gone to institutions would be adequate to last through life. Your lives are going to be different. You are going to be repositioned, you are going to be recalibrated, and the word disruption is going to be a part of your competence skill set for the better part of your life. So whatever you've learned for 4 years, some of it might change in the next 4 years. A lot of it might change in the next 8 years. And if you are not building yourself with a continuous saga of competence and continuous learning, you're going to find yourself adrift. And it is that sense that you have to always try and avoid. So build competence and build continuous learning. Another characteristic, you got your degrees, you got your achievements. Some of you have been honored with gold medals. Fantastic. But life is more than this. Life is not just about competence, intelligence and skill. Life is about credibility. Credibility as a professional, as a businessman, as a human being is an important characteristic of your life. By credibility is meant as sure as sunrise, as clear as a pond, no surprises. So if you are particularly a nasty person, continue to be nasty. The day you start becoming good, somebody might say, Dal mein kuch kala hai, right? I remember in my own career, I had a first boss who was very mercurial. And a couple of times he suddenly got very nice towards me. And I got deeply suspicious. I said, kuch na kuch to hoga. How has this share become a bakri today? Right? So, build that credibility. Credibility is what will last you through good times and bad. And Mr. Thadani shared the various crisis moments that I've been through. And I have a little bit of an albatross kind of history. I either create a crisis or fall into a crisis. But honestly, when you fall into a crisis, nobody really cares about your CGPA or the institution where you got your BTech or MTech. They bother about the credibility of that professional. Is this guy or this lady good enough to come out of the mess we find ourselves in? Does he have the moral template? Does he have the conviction? Does he have the courage? Does he have the competence? Does he have the orchestration capabilities? Does he have the leadership? Does he have the compassion, the passion, the empathy to be able to get us out of this mess? Not whether he was a gold medalist or whether he passed out from NIIT or from Harvard or Cambridge or whichever university in the world it is. Build on this credibility. Don't neglect it. Some of us neglect it. We think that being a chameleon is a good way of leading life. You are not politicians. You are human beings. That means that you have a certain conviction that you stick to. You have a certain credibility that you stick to. Because you will be known by your credibility. Ultimately, all of us lead our lives. All these medals, all these accolades, all these great things. Ultimately, what do we do when somebody retires from a company or somebody, God forbid, passes away? You talk about the character of that person. अच्छा आदमी था, भला आदमी था, कुछ करके गया, या अच्छी औरत थी, भली औरत थी, कुछ करके गई, समाज के लिए कुछ करके गई. You don't say कि उसने बनाया टर्नओवर 15,000 करोड़, उसने इतनी प्रॉफिट बनाई, उसने ये थोड़ी बात करते हो. And that comes from credibility. So don't neglect it, my friends. It's important that you build it wherever you are. The next characteristic is found in the least amount, certainly in the corporate world, to a certain extent in the social and political world. The word courage. Courage is like a reed in the wind. I bend, but I don't break. Courage is that capability, that quiet voice in your head that says there is a better way, and you quietly say it. Courage is not telling your boss, you idiot, how did you get promoted? That is a career limiting move. And you will snuffle your careers as soon as it is begun. Some of us think that that is courage. Thappad mara yaar maine bande ko, kya mara maine, right? It happens in Bollywood, even that is questionable. But in real life, I think courage is that capability that you stand up and be counted. When you become senior leaders, which I'm sure all of you will, you want to be surrounded by people with courage. You don't want to be surrounded by gidders. Unfortunately, that's what will happen. Because every guy will look at you, sir, no greater leader than you. Sir, aapke bina to kuch ho hi nahi sakta. Right? And you get inflated. It goes to your head. The only person in your life who can bring you down to earth is your wife. That's for sure. she'll tell you अपने आप को बड़ा ज़्यादा समझते हो, हैं? Come down. You're not as great as you think. And sometimes your children. Okay, in my case, my wife and daughter are both my fondest human beings and my worst critics. So I get it from both of them. One from the current generation, one from my generation. But anyway, that's how it is. So have this courage. But courage must also go with communication. And Kabir said this beautifully. He said, "Aisi bani boliye, man ka apa koi, auran ko sheetal kare, aapu sheetal hoye." Why do we want to be harsh on each other? Why can't you get the worst news across with kindness, with good words? Today is an age when we are getting shrill, and all of you are exposed to it, right? When India consumes the maximum amount of data in the world, I'm getting worried because all of it is videos. And a lot of those videos are things that you should not be seeing because it pollutes your mind. It doesn't give you a peace of mind. It gives you a bloody headache at the end of it all. So moderate your communication. Nice guys also win. Nice women also win. It's not the guys only with bluster or only the guys who punch you in the face who are getting ahead in the queue who win. Nice guys also win. Try and be a nice guy. It makes you happier. It gives you a less stress-free life. So focus on building your courage along with your communication. The next attribute, which I know is like shouting at the deaf, concentration. Life is about concentration and focus. आप लोग तो WhatsApp भी करते हो, Twitter भी करते हो, Insta भी करते हो, चूं करके फोटो ले लेते हो. Every second element, you do it. That's your generation. I applaud you for it. But learn that in life, to succeed, you have to have focus and concentration. You have to know some things and you have to know it really well. You can't be halfway house about anything. It is not tentative. Skills that have been given to you are meant to be concentrated and focused upon and built. So if you are in data science, if you are in information technology, if you are in a particular aspect of IT or whatever field you're doing, you need to be an expert in it. And that means that you have to concentrate. Concentration is an important element, and my request to you, my plea to you, is give your time and give yourself some time for it. The next one element, creativity. We are seldom looking at our lives creatively. We think that creativity only happens with artists and musicians. Creativity is in your job. My first job, when I first joined as a management trainee, which again was an accident. I wanted to be an IAS officer. And my father said, Hindustan Lever interview is very good because they really grill you. So when you go for the IAS interview, tum pass ho jaoge. Little realizing that Hindustan Lever interview pass ho gaya. And then one of my first roles was to sell dalda. In the old days, there used to be Vanaspati, which is called dalda. I think now it's a company called Banji. And one of the jobs that I had was to clean dalda tins. The way to bring down a master's in economics from the Delhi School of Economics, one of the top 5 in the class, etc., was to go make him clean dalda tins. And my biggest worry was, don't post me in Kamla Nagar, because professors from the Delhi school would have been coming there to shop. कोई देख लेगा, अरे सुरेश तू डालडा डब्बा साफ कर रहा है, right? इतने तुझे पढ़ाई इसलिए, right? So ultimately, it was unfortunately in Rajasthan. It was not in Delhi. But I perfected the art of cleaning the tin in the shortest amount of time, and that was my element of creativity. So my supervisor said, he said, यार tin बड़ा अच्छा साफ करते हो, शायद तुम आगे जाके बर्तन भी अच्छा मांजोगे. So I said, हो सकता है, maybe. And during COVID times, even that बर्तन मांजना became a creative habit with me. Constraints. Don't look at your life with constraints. You always begin with saying, why can't I not do something? You always begin by saying, this is impossible. Nothing is impossible. I think you need to seek. Yesterday we had a Diwali party for our staff. And one of the groups that we called are foot and mouth artists. There's a person who came with no hands. With his legs, he created a painting on the spot. He could open the tubes, he could use the brush, he could create it. And he said, "You think I can do only painting? I can even drive a car." Now if you asked him, "What are your constraints in life?" he would have laughed at you. It is the constraints. I have 2 stubs. And still I go about my life like a charmed human being. You have no constraints. You're all born fit. You're all born sound. You're all born intelligent. So don't look at your life with constraints, because if you look at your life with constraints, you will only repent it afterwards. The last 2 or 3 points which I thought I'll leave you with, which has worked me and helped me well. It's always been said that leadership is a type A task. You have to be a tough leader. You have to be an in-your-face leader. You have to be a leader like Amitabh Bachchan, who says, "Mujhe Shahenshah kehte hain." No need. A leader has to be like a coconut. Tough on issues, but with a soft core. Compassion, competence, and leadership go together. We've all been through the most horrendous times in the last 2.5 years. It's a tribute to an institution that you have today, a convocation where you're all physically present. What was my biggest concern as a leader during the last 2.5 months was not the results of the company, not the profits of the company, not how shareholders would be happy or unhappy, not how investors would think of me for the future, or what I would be perceived as a corporate leader for the future. Instead, it was the safety and security of my people. If they don't live, I don't live. That's what leadership is. The capacity to know every strain of music and yet not make a noise. That is leadership. And that happens when your competence, when you are confident about yourself. If you're confident about yourself and you're compassionate and you're a leader, then you become a person that truly resonates with your people, with the environment, with the community. Then good things happen automatically. So when a salesman of mine walks 14 kilometers a day for 3 days in order to get my products registered to be sold during COVID times, it is not my instruction. He does it himself. That is culture speaking. That is culture speaking because conviction and dedication comes along with compassion to make people do the things that they do. So keep compassion in your mind. I have never missed targets in my life. I hate missing targets. Corporate performance does not happen by you saying chalta hai. Nothing is chalta hai. But chalta hai goes with compassion. That we will make things happen, but we will do it as a compassionate, as a decent organization, building in all the purpose and values that has been enshrined by past leaders in this company to make ourselves what we are. And as leaders, and all of you will be leaders, and all of you are leaders. There's a doha of Rahim that says, "Bada hua to kya hua, jaise ped khajur, panchi ko chhaya nahi, phal lage ati dur." What is the point of being that tall date palm tree when neither a bird can get shelter, nor can you access the fruit? Leadership is about being tall enough for the shortest man to access you. Leadership is about humble enough to get the humblest person to talk to you. And humility has 2 great virtues. The first virtue of humility is it makes you accessible. People talk to you. They don't get scared of you. So you get to know the things that you should be knowing. And humility gives you another very big characteristic. It makes you not take yourself too seriously. As you become big, as you become more successful, you start taking yourself too seriously. मैं तो बड़ा आदमी हूँ, मैं तो बहुत कुछ हूँ, मैं तो 30 मार खान हूँ, right? And that pumps you up and makes you do the kinds of things. I mean, if you look around you in the world, the corporations that fail don't fail because their strategies are horribly wrong. They fail because their leadership has hubris and arrogance and do the wrong things at the wrong time. That's why they fail. And that happens when you do not have this ability to be able to marry leadership to a context and to a personal characteristic. And the biggest task of leadership that you would ever face is the task of managing yourself. Managing others is easy, managing yourself is a problem. When a crisis happens, how do you deal with the crisis? How do people look at you? People look around you and they say, "Bhai, ye to isko pasine chhoot rahe hain, ye to kaamp raha hai." Remember that there are more eyes looking at you than what you're looking at. And that's an important characteristic of both competence, of humility, of courage, of compassion, of all elements that you've learned today and learned over your life coming together. And the last point I would like to leave you with, and this is a controversial point, and this is contentment. Life is about contentment. Life is not about continuously seeking to be better than the other guy or the other lady. If you don't want to be content, welcome to two worlds that can affect you. First, you will start breaking your relationships in life. तुम्हारी प्रमोशन नहीं हुई, किसी और की हो गई, बच्चा A ग्रेड लेके आया, अरे A+ क्यों नहीं लाया, वहाँ पे चला गया, right? You smash him. हो सकता है, हमारे साथ भी हुआ है, right? Parents always put you at a higher grade than what they think you are capable of, and then attribute it either to the father or the mother, depending on who wears the pants in the house, right? Invariably, that's how it works. So that's the first characteristic. Second, welcome to the world of heart attacks and ulcers. Because you are constantly envious of the other person. अरे उसको promotion मिल गया, अरे उसके पास ये गाड़ी है, right? This is an envy-driven culture, right? Who's wearing a Rolex watch and who's going on a holiday where and who's doing what. This is the acquisitive culture that we are all born with and we all aspire to. If you see a simple person who leads a simple life, वो तो गंवार है, वो तो संत आदमी है, right? And in the Delhi culture, of course, it is all pervasive, right? When I went to a get-together and told them I work for Nestle, they looked at me and said, "Oh." When somebody came around and said, "Have you met the chairman of Nestle?" "Arey, aapne bataya nahi." Right? As if that was the bigger moniker than working for the company. Yeah, technically it's true. I am the chairman of Nestle, but I also work for the company. So have contentment in your life. If you have contentment in your life, then you are able to live life with greater equanimity. You're able to spend times on the things that you should spend your times on. Have hobbies. When you get married and you have families, spend time with your children. I have not missed a single PTA or graduation of my daughter in her entire schooling and college. I never missed it. I used to go for it, take leave and go. That is what is important. In the end of your life, what you will be remembered by is the person that you are, and a few people around you who will say, "Dad, you are a good dad." That for me is a bigger accolade than any Fortune or Forbes or X, Y, and Z award that can ever come my way. I've given you some thoughts for reflection, my young friends. I take the opportunity as an elder to bless you sincerely with long and happy lives ahead. You will achieve a lot more than you ever dreamt of, but dream about it. You will do a lot more than you ever thought of. Plan it and make your lives purposeful to achieve it. You will achieve a lot more happiness than you ever dreamt of. Give yourself the chance. Thank you all very much. Good luck and God bless you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And I feel not just the graduates, every one of us learned so much. Thank you so much. May I request Mr. R.S. Pawar, founder NIIT University, to present a memento to our chief guest, Mr. Narayan. May I now request Professor Rajesh Khanna, President, NIIT University, to present the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Ritika. It's a vote of thanks, and if I have the customary vote of thanks where I, let's say, thank the parents, thank the students, thank the chief guest, thank the founders, thank the teachers, thank the family members, it would be incomplete. I've learned from the chief guest, that there's a whole lot, that goes into a success. Whole lot. It's not just your education or your position or your even your qualities. You see, I mean, you listed a whole lot of them, but the message was that you connected with the students at a personal level, and you thought about them from the very beginning, and the whole thing was about them, about what they shouldn't do, what they should do, but with a caveat that with the gray hair, I mean, you do have some. I mean, you're fortunate to have a lot of black ones, but some maybe for effect, maybe they just sneaked into. They have a very terrible habit of sneaking into, even in the young years. But it was remarkable, sir. The way you passed on the very simple message of having a whole, retinue of qualities. If you listen to it properly, or if you go through the video recordings that we will, many times over, we'll go about through them. Whole list, everything, all adjectives, all qualities, all good things. First, as a human being, and then because we are blessed, you had an education. You are poised for growth and become a leader. Then how a human being then starts thinking about others and then orchestrates and this whole reference to the orchestra. I mean, the person who conducts the orchestra allows that freedom for the musicians to create that. You see, he's not dictating that, do this. He knows everything. I think that's very, very important. You should not impose. I think that's the message which I got. Your own weakness as a teacher, the worst thing that we can do is impose our fears, our learnings on you. So while we may know the domain, we may have the experience of so many, students before us, their use cases, as this corporate language goes. But still, you see, it's an individual. An individual, would do what they would do. I think you brought that point, very, very much in the beginning, that, I'm saying this, it's okay, it worked for me, this is good practice, would work for most of the people, and generally accepted to be the path to be useful, to have a satisfying life, but not the only path. You will create your own path. That was remarkable, sir. Very, very remarkable, because we have seen very accomplished people imposing with their thought process, with their experiences, with their successes, and to very impressionable minds. It's a new birth for them. They came here, 4 years ago. That was, another milestone in their life. That transformation happened. A bigger transformation would happen in your life now. So I learned that very quickly. So this vote of thanks starts. You see, you look at a university. It's an instrument in some sense. I'm an engineer, so let's look at. It's an instrument for sustainability and growth of civilization. If universities are not there, who would nurture those ideas? Who would take care of the ideas that have, that are out of favor with the market? Who would care for them? So universities have to be there. Universities, in some form, have always been around. It's not something that we built now. They've always been there, with time scales of, hundreds of years, thousands of years in some cases. So for a university, the convocation is a very, very important step, important milestone in a university's calendar or life. And when does a convocation become successful? When does a university become successful? It doesn't become successful by the students, by the infrastructure, by the values that we teach, or just by the teachers, or our placement, or admissions, or this ecosystem. This is just one part, you see. For a university to be successful, we need to have a primary school teacher, who has done her job, who has done his job, who instilled those values, who cared for you when you left your home for the first time to be in a school. You see, so vote of thanks goes to her or to him, to parents, who invested, who thought about this, that this time, this energy is for the children, and they got money to arrange those resources for the students to study and to come to a university, and the whole for whole lot of parents. The sole aim is to bring up their children and get their education. That's how we all know this. So a huge vote of thanks to the parents who managed, you see, somehow, in many cases, and to the school system who managed to preserve the innocence as much as possible, and some of the schools, as you said, the Astachal, that resonates so much with me now. I've been here for a year, and so lot of thanks to the school where you come from, your friends there, your teachers there, your principal there. If you find a correlation between success and the school principal, you'll find the strongest correlation in life is not with the family, with the race, with the wealth of the parents. It's with the school principal. If you look at their principals who have contributed so much. So for this university to be successful, we need to have a successful school principal somewhere. Then only this university would be successful. Then we need to have to build up that credibility that people, parents, students, people who are attached to the university, they repose their trust in us. So a huge thanks to everyone who has reposed their trust, have chosen to be a part of us in this NU family. So many thanks to those. And how does it all happen? You brought, some, in a joking way, but if you are a tiger, remain a tiger. Or if you're nasty, you remain nasty. So that's at least something has to be constant, so that people around you, it is out of respect for the people around you in a team. You see, we'll slowly realize, how all of that energizes the team and allows the team to function, so that you come out of a crisis. A single person will not come out of the crisis. No leader would ever come out of a crisis unless the team performs, unless there are people everywhere and they contribute and find a purpose to do it and a way to do it. So you'll see this whole lot of things go into university, but then somebody has to build a university. You see, if you look at these pictures, all of us are very familiar with this. It was all brown, not that brown is a bad color, but it was all brown in terms of, the fertility of the soil. There's no sustainability in that color, if you look at this. It's now all green. And then to think that we'll do this and to take this as a challenge and to build this university, and they continue to nurture this university by, tan, man, dhan, I mean, that's so rare. So thanks are due to Vijay and Raji for this, about not just about the vision, but nurturing that vision, being here, giving their time, and contributing, and in a huge way, making my job easier, much easier, if with that contribution. So a lot of thanks to the founders and the whole support system around that, which comes along. If I look at the guest list here, the thanks are due to the guests who are there because of your credibility. The parents who have joined, the parents who have an NIIT DNA in them, who have worked for or maybe studied in some NIIT, we have seen that they are so much aligned with us. So it's not just, the people present in this hall or people outside this hall making this happen. It's a whole lot of things that we should be thankful to. And it's a time, 13 is a very mischievous year in a person's life. In a university life, it's still baby steps. So we are safe for some time. I look at Major General Ashok, and I look at the founders and everyone here and the worried parents. We are safe. We are still baby, not really 13 in that sense. So it's a time to thank, the whole universe around it. And it does play a part for a university to be as successful, for a convocation to be this. The people who worked, I mean, it's not a cliche, but then who kept the Wi-Fi alive in that time, you see. It's not just the teachers who taught you, or the parents who got the tablets for you, or the universities that arranged for all that, remote teaching, or everything, the people, somebody had to keep that network alive. Somebody had to see that you're fed. Somebody has to travel so many miles to just see that the groceries are available. So all of us, went through that path. So we should all take this, time when, especially for the students, when it's a very, remarkable time for you. You're moving from a university to the corporate world, and you'll do well. I'm not so much worried. I mean, in fact, not at all worried about your character, not at all worried about your domain knowledge. But when we had Mr. Suresh here listing those, things, I'm sure there are many that we could have done better on. We are learning. We'll catch on some of them, and we'll try to make instruments. We'll try to create situations where those qualities would be kind of reinforced. I mean, they're already there. They're already there because the primary teacher has instilled them, that she has nucleated them, the parents have nucleated them. We just have to reinforce them. They're already there, sir. So I, as president of this university, feel very, very fortunate to be a part of this gathering, to be a part of this convocation, and to be able to say thanks. So many people don't even get a chance to say thanks. And they're I'm so lucky to be able to even thank the people who have done so well and so much for this convocation to happen. This set of young people who'll go out and create so much happiness and wealth in the world. I'm not at all worried about this as a president. I've seen you only for a very short time, but worry is not something that has ever bothered me in that sense. I never feel bothered. This whole cosmic, the big scale of things. We are just very, very little. So now for the specific, but I take this opportunity. Maybe it's just a vote of thanks, but because I have not talked to you enough, I did, talk about that, you being an alumni here and doing this and that a little bit, but not really as a lesson or something that I would like to, tell you. And I'll tell you something that has been my biggest crisis, or the toughest thing to negotiate in life. And that has been when you're, and please listen to this carefully, you see, it's not with character, it's not with domain, it's not with ethics, it's a very, very deeply personal thing, and a lot related to the courage that you said. And the toughest decisions for me personally have been when my team my people, my family, with people who are close to me, and people, I mean, I'm a sportsman, so I have been a part of so many teams. And the team decides to do something which I know is wrong. And I should have the courage to say no to that. When the team, has decided to take that path, and I can say, corporate world is you agree, disagree, but then you do. It's something like this. But I think the biggest courage would be to go against who are close to you, who are dear to you, and stand up for the right thing. And I have found that to be very, very difficult. But in the end, I'm happy that I at times, I've made the right decision. I'm not saying that I made the right decision all the time, but believe me, when those challenges would come, no education would help you. It would only whatever you have distilled from life, whatever you are in the core, a courageous person, and standing up for the right thing. And that would come. You see, if you look at what is happening around the world, these kind of personal crises come, and only you yourself can take the right decision. You see, the pressure is too much. There's peer pressure. It is nothing, to be dressed in a particular way, or to maybe smoke a cigarette or have a drink. That pressure is nothing compared to when your very close, near and dear ones want to do something, and in your heart that's wrong. And you have to say that, sorry, I can't be a part of it. This is not how I operate. So this is what my piece of advice. I'm sorry, I took a little bit of time, but I thought it's very, very important, because the courage, that kind of resonates with me. So now coming to those customary vote of thanks. So thank you so much, all the graduating students, for this transformation overnight. I was here in the rehearsals, and we thought as a leadership team that we need to do a lot more rehearsals. But you are amazing, and the way you have turned up, so and being so I don't have to find a word for this, but to get through all that has happened during your 4 years, and come out, as a winner, and still believing in education, having that belief in the goodness of things. When you believe in education in a university system, you believe in something that's very good, very, very important. So thank you, all the students who have worked so hard for their degrees. Thanks to the parents here. I mean, some of them I have a chance to know as Vijay said, the prized position, and you trusting it. It's a very, very difficult decision, and I've seen all of that happening in the admission cycle, where there's so many worries, and we need to talk to, and we think of ourselves as parents. So I can see the kind of courage you have shown, and the decision that you took. So thank you so much. The teachers, they've gone through all that difficult time, learned how to use technology, learned how to be on WhatsApp, on these Zooms and other things, and being able to teach the whole team that goes into running the university, starting from, who feeds you, cleans this, who gets the food, and who teaches, and who gets everything, the net and everything. So thanks a lot to them, and to the team that was for the event, you see, and they worked very, very hard to get all of this right, to some degree. I won't say to a perfect degree, but to some degree, so that all of us can have this ceremony. So a lot of thanks to the team, the students here. I did check the degrees, the names. I have a habit of checking that, so all the names were correct. Thanks to the warden there and the student team there, and thanks to the guests who have taken a time out, gone through all those 4 or 5 hurdles that are from in this Delhi to Nimrana path. So thanks a lot for being here, It's so touching that, you could take that time out and be here, be with us, be a part of our celebration. So thank you so much. And then thanks to our founders. I mean, we have already said, and they are part of the family. So who really says thanks to part of the family? We are all in it together. So thanks a lot for all that you have done. Now I'll come to a little bit more about our chief guest, a very accomplished person. And if you look at the list of the things that he said you should do, you shouldn't do, or these are the kind of recipe or kind of good things to do, that's okay. But you see the humility. It's always, when a person, acts or delivers, that you get to know the real person. You see, anybody can, find out those terms and everything, but the way this message was delivered was a master class. The master class in leadership, of being a human, how to be a leader, and how to be a person. And in the end, you're just with some people who would think about you, who would say nice things about you, and frankly, that's all that matters. To get to that, there's a whole treacherous road of this thing called life and world, where you have to excel everywhere, you have to make people and enable people, enable the team, lead the team, and do all that, for a very simple thing, just to live a life well and maybe, leave this world as a better place. So thank you, sir, for very simple terms. And thank you. And thanks to the host, who would very patiently stay aside and let a professor hog the mic, and these two are inseparable. You see, you should see me in a class. This is nothing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. And we are not going to let you go so easily. So I request our Honorable President to declare the convocation to be closed.
Declare the convocation closed.
To conclude, I would wish our students to follow what Guru Rabindranath Tagore said, and I quote, "The highest education is that which does not merely give us information, but makes a life in harmony with all existence." I wish you all a very... May I request you all to rise for the national anthem.
Check, 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 check.
Thank you all for gracing the occasion and blessing our graduates. Thank you so much.